Friends, let's talk about a very sad story. A story that is old as time. A story that has been seen many times over since probably like the beginning of humanity. So you see, you are an older man. I'm an older man too, as you can see by my balding head. You get contacted by a much younger woman who, by no means necessary that if she were in your country of origin where you are, she will be out of your reach for many different reasons. Number one, the age difference. Number two, because she's definitely not your type and you're not her type. Okay. And you are flying down there 2 to 3 weeks every time, giving her lavish gifts, buying her expensive jewelry, probably taking her on trips because I've seen from other reports. And guess what happens? In the end, she chooses this type of person.
Commented on my Instagram story. I was like, okay, cool. I came back to see her the next day. And then the next day, the third time. And then there was something about her. And I knew I had to make a move. Fast forward, I wound up meeting her mother. I wound up meeting her family, her brothers, her grandmother, her close friends. I was flying out there every 2 to 3 weeks. I even flew to New York to the world famous Trax NYC jeweler and bought her a fucking ring. How stupid was I? And then the red flags started coming. One after another after another. Let me know what you guys think. Tell me your feedback on this. Like, how crazy am I, man? This whole thing is just nuts. I'm going to give you another video tomorrow, I promise. So in the next one, I'll dive more into the infidelity.
It is a known fact in the last few years that you have a multitude group of people who are flying down to other countries, those Países Bajos, our lower countries, what they consider third world or developing countries also. And they think that they can find the love of their life. But in their point of view, they're finding the visa of their life, el amor de su visa. And what happens is that usually these type of girls, they will have their boyfriend on the side. Now, usually, as a person who's a digital content creator, I tell you, if you want to really date a real person, a person who is of good character in Colombia, I'm not talking about other countries because I don't know how they act, but I know in Colombia, you usually meet the family, the mother, the brother, and everything else. And I have met my ex-girlfriend's mother, father, brother, cousins, everybody else, and that's usually a good sign. But sometimes everybody is in on it. You have to understand. And I'm not saying that this guy's a lame, because he seems like for a guy his age, he seems like he's well put together. He, it seems like he has good finances. He's very secure in his money. You could tell that from what I can see, that he's working out. But sometimes you gotta have that chemistry. Many of us guys in the United States think, hey, I'm going to go down to Colombia, find me a girlfriend or wife. But the problem is that you do not have any chemistry. That's number one. The second and most important part, which is probably more important than the first, is you don't have anything culturally in common, because you think you can come down to Colombia and whisk them away to give them whatever they want, because you think that they're back in their country, they don't have access to a lot of things, which is not the case. There's rich people in South America too. However, let's say if you go down there and you find a girl from a lower class neighborhood, all right, you think you can pull her outside of that, a person who grew up in her environment, making friends, making relationships through high school and through friendships and families, okay, taking her away from her music. All right, she's from Cartagena. What do the Cartageneros listen to? They listen to champeta.
Hasta bailar champeta colombiana.
I have to admit, that is a very beautiful costeña. Champeta is literally African soukous. They listen to vallenato. They listen to a whole lot of things that they don't listen to in the United States. Their food is very well seasoned because of the fact that they are African descent peoples.
¿Sabías de dónde proviene nuestro arroz con coco?
Por favor, no me hablen, déjenme ser feliz. ¿Y ustedes qué? ¿Con café o con gaseosa?
Yo pedí un boca chico frito sudado y esto es medio pescado nomás.
Festival de la Salchipapa 2026. ¿Será que sí vale la pena ir este año? La entrada, las propuestas de este año están por 22.000 pesos y valen totalmente la callejero, bastante familiar, espectacular. Y
papi, a mí viene con mis amigos muertos de hambre a comernos este chipapó. Si hablamos de lugares icónicos en Barranquilla, Sancocho y Asado La 49 es uno de ellos. Buscar el mejor sancocho en la ciudad termina aquí. Ya entendí por qué su sabor es tradición. Desde pescados hasta carne y por supuesto su espectacular sancocho.
You also remember that they're in the Caribbean. They're very fiery. They like loud music. And you think that you can whisk her away from all of that, take her to the United States, where she has no longer can listen to her music. She can no longer speak her own language, her local dialect, because there's different dialects of Colombian Spanish. Okay? She can no longer joke with her friends the same way they jokes with the inside jokes and everything else. Go out with her friends. And with that, all that, and taking away all that connection that she had to her culture, and you think that she wants to be with you. And then you wonder why she ends up with somebody like this. Let's go back into this section. Now, I want to talk about this, okay? In Colombia, these type of guys that you see right here, depending on where you're from, if you're in the far north, in the northern Caribbean coast, they're called chirretes. Chirretes. If you go further south, in the inner regions, they're called ñeros.
Ventajas de tener una novia ñera. Te regala los techitos de vez en cuando.
Ay, amor, mira lo que yo te compré.
Ush, un matrimonio. Está re lindo, sin palabras.
Severo, ¿no?
Ventajas de tener una novia ñera. Si no sabe chiflar, ella chifla por ti. Ventajas de tener una novia ñera. Es como un socio más, perro, sin palabras.
¿Cómo es eso? Si vamos a comer salchichón con pan, no se marea.
Blanco, vamos.
Vamos, galleta, ¿todo bien?
Ventajas. ¿Qué pasa, socio? Entonces, ¿qué? De más que es el nacional, piro. Ush, pille. Es que piro, entonces muy alzado porque tiene esa camiseta toda chivida comprada en Chapinero. Ush. Gonorrea, Chapinero.
Zarco, ¿qué pasó, Zarco? ¿Qué pasó?
Ñero, acá las ricachonas de acá, el poblado siempre enamoradas de mí, ñero.
¿Por qué? ¿Por qué?
Es que le gustan esmalando así care locos. Vea, ahí vienen dos locas ya, ñero. Hablamos, pato.
Lindo,
Okay? As a joke in Colombia, they call him El Brian. For some reason, Brian is always one of those. And if you're new to this or you're an outsider, you're trying to figure out, let's make a comparison. If you're in Russia, they're Gopniks, right? If the female version is Gopnitsa. Hopefully, I'm not butchering the Russian language. Gopnik, right? If you're in United Kingdom, they call it Chavs, right? Every country has one of these type of guys. Every country has one of the type of guys. They may or may not be in a gang, but they're usually the hoodlums of the street, the bad boys of the street, okay? And in Colombia, they're called chirrete if you're from the northern coast. If you're from the inner regions, they're called eñero. Or as some people like to call him, El Brian, the Brian, because for some reason, a lot of them like to be called Brian. To be able to have a relationship with anybody, it's more than just money. You cannot buy love. You can buy their companionship and their time, but who are they attracted to the most? Why is it attracted to these type of guys? And you don't have to be this type of guy from the street. Most of them will have a guy on the side if they're dating a foreigner. You know, am I saying that it cannot happen? No, I actually know of a Colombian girl right now, very in love with her foreign boyfriend. He took her to LA. They're living together. Happy life ever. No problem. But that is the exception. You need to have the chemistry. You cannot buy love. You need to be able to understand that this is a different culture. Colombian culture is very loud, depending which region you're from. It's very joyous. They enjoy having a lot of stimulus. Champeta is African sokus. Vallenato is very loud, fast, depending on which type of vallenato. Even the slow one, okay? Even the reggaeton and everything else. Take them out of that element and bring them to your element, they're going to get bored. They're going to get bored. Unless you can keep up with that lifestyle, you're not going to. Most of the times, and I hate to say this is the reality of life. Many, what I call passport bros. All right? Like I said, some passport bros say that they're sex tourists. Other passport bros says they are international husbands and travelers looking for love. Most of the time, there is not going to last. And I've seen this happen. Guys, before passport bros, before this new group, this generation, I would say starting 2016, before they ever existed, you had something called the 90-day fiancé. Okay? And I have seen this many times over and over with the Brazilians, with the Colombians, because I'm Colombian myself, with the Venezuelans, Dominicans. A guy will go over to another country because he's tired of supposedly the women in the United States who are too manly and masculine and feminist, right? They want a quote unquote subservient wife. When in Latin America, there's no such thing as a subservient wife. Latin American women are very, very confrontational. They're very lively, hot-blooded, because I'm a hot-blooded person, okay? And if you cannot handle that, they will get bored with you quickly. How many times did I see them bring somebody over? Yeah, maybe give them a kid or two. And then after a while, they get divorced and they take everything they got from you. Let me tell you a story. I know a girl from Cartagena. She's not personally a friend of mine's, but she's a friend of a friend that I kind of knew of her and she knew of me because we ran around in the same circles. This friend met a nice guy from the United States. This guy had a high level position in government. This guy was no slouch. Okay? Something to do, I think something to do with aerospace engineering or NASA, like something high up there. Dude was making money. I'm talking about he was making six figures a year, upper six figures a year. He took her to the United States. He helped bring her mom over. He helped bring her kid over, and he helped bring her cousin over, who doesn't work. And she got bored of him after a while, and she ended up breaking up with him. And guess who her cousin was? Her cousin, it was actually her real boyfriend that she's been in love with for a long time. And you know who he happened to be? One of these guys. To this day, they're together still. The girl took the guy's money. I don't know what she did. She got divorced. How she's still here? No. How she's still in the United States? I don't know. She took a lot of money from him. And the one who is not working is the one who holds the keys to her heart, because love cannot be bought. Some people say that's dumb. Yeah, some Colombians will say that's pretty dumb, because, she could have had a secure life. But you cannot be secure when you're with somebody that you do not have an attraction to. It just cannot happen. I don't know this person's particular background. I don't know the history, but you could tell right from the get-go, out of his league. Definitely not for him. Most of the time, they're just scamming, and I guarantee you that he sent her money. Oh yeah, I remember because I read the story. He bought her a diamond ring, took her to Jamaica and a whole bunch of places, sent her gifts. I guarantee you, she was using those gifts and giving it to the real boyfriend. Luckily, he's not crazy like the guy from Texas that deleted the DJ when he found out that she was giving her real boyfriend passport bro money that he was sending out to her. Okay, so guys, let this be a lesson to you. I'm not saying him because I don't know him. He looks well put together. He got full head of hair because I don't have hair. He looks like he got a lot of money. He can travel to Colombia for like 2 weeks at a time. So every 2 weeks, that's good for him. But if you do not have that connection culturally, spiritually, emotionally, most of the time it's not. And plus, she's very young. Girls at that age, they do not want to settle down. They want to have fun. All right. She had her boyfriend. I guarantee you that she's still with him. And even if she breaks up with him, she's going to find another one just like him. All right. So let this be a lesson to you guys. This is pretty much, no, so lesson to be this to you guys. Find someone your age. I'm not knocking him. But for the guys who end up in these positions, find someone your age. Learn how to have personality. Okay. Get a career. Get some type of activity going on in your life. Be busy. Be independent. Find a passion and be on your own purpose. And I can guarantee you the right one will come along. But you cannot go finding the right ones like that. If they're finding you on Facebook from a different country and they tell you how good you are and this is too good to be true, 9 times out of 10 is going to be too good to be true. I'm just letting you know.